Hi, this is Jeff Stiles with Schluter Systems. We are here at Bonanza Trade in North Hollywood, California, and we're going to demonstrate all of our systems, including Kerdi shower systems, DITRA heat, the line drain, and everything else that comes with Schluter Systems. A little bit about Schluter Systems. We go to market through education. Our products cannot be sold. They have to be understood. Once you understand them, everything comes together. You got a full understanding of how they go in and why they're manufactured and designed the way they are. It makes it real easy, and then you guys, once you understand them, it's like a walk in the park. It really is simple to install. You know, the first one might be a little daunting, but as you get to installing our system over and over again, you get real proficient at it. You'll be able to knock out a shower inside about 2.5 hours. I want to talk a little bit about our education real quick before we get started. We, as I mentioned before, we go through education. We do 130 workshops nationwide, and we do them throughout the country. Okay, so we do them through, well, I should say North America, through Canada and North America. The one that we handle is down in Anaheim. We usually get about 50 to 60 guys there. They could be GCs, they could be architects, they could be tile installers, they could be remodelers, it doesn't matter. Anybody from the trade is invited and welcome. And the workshop we have two workshops. We have a part one and a part two. In order to go to the part two, you got to attend the part one. And we have the dates. All you got to do is go to schluterevents.com and sign up. It's all sponsored by Schluter Systems. We put you in a hotel room, sponsored by Schluter. You get your own room. We also have the workshop, the full workshop, in Spanish. So if you decide you don't want to hear it in English, we have a gentleman by the name of Oscar Hernandez who basically teaches the whole class in Spanish. And we would encourage you to come. What we're going to show you today is we're going to show you how to install the system, but it's really a little bit of a tease. The workshops, they can consist of hands-on and classroom. So you'll come in the morning, you'll do classroom, we'll talk about theory and why these systems are developed the way they are, and then in the afternoon, we actually mix up mud and we install systems. We install the showers. In part one, we do the showers, we do DITRA heat, we show you how to build a bench, a shower bench. In part two, it's a little less classroom and it's about 70% hands-on. So all these workshops, we encourage you to come. You can attend any one of our workshops in North America. All you got to do is get there. So if you go to schluterevents.com, you click on the map and you want to go to the workshop in Montreal. Click on Montreal, sign up. You got to get there. We'll put you in a hotel and feed you for a couple days. You just got to get there, okay? So when you look at the map, I think we have, let's see, 32 different locations and 140 classes, 140 workshops throughout North America. So there's really, you know, and they're dated throughout the whole calendar year. We got plenty of workshops left for the rest of the year. Heck, it's only March, so we got quite a few to choose from. So we definitely encourage you guys to attend those workshops. So, okay, so this is my brother Dave. He and I handle Bakersfield all the way down to the border, and we do have Oscar Hernandez that helps us out as well for the Spanish side of the business. And but we cover everything. So if you guys have any questions, or you know, after we break up today and you guys want to start a project, or maybe you win the shower kit and you want to try it out, we have no problem meeting you out on the job site, helping you out and getting you started. So definitely lean on us, and we'll make sure we have cards here so you guys can contact us if there's any questions after the seminar. So so what we're going to do is we're going to install the Kerdi shower system. This is kind of our roadshow mock-up, if you will. It's, you know, built with 2x4 walls, and then we've got a couple pallets here for the floors. And what we've done is we put backer board on the floors. And the only reason why we've done that, we would never recommend that you install our system over backer board. But the reason why we're doing that is because when we tear down this mock-up later, it's real simple. We just pick those big pieces of backer board and we throw them in the dumpster. So it's real simple. But typically we would be installing over OSB, plywood, or concrete. So this is just for demo purposes. I know sometimes it gets a little confusing on how we do things, but that's why we do it. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to start off by, we have drywall on our stick frame wall here. And what Dave did while I was talking earlier, he took his hydro sponge and gave the surface a drink of water. Okay, wiped it down real well, got it wet. So when we do apply our bond coat on the substrate, it doesn't rob the moisture from our bond coat, okay? So we want to make sure it's fully saturated and wet so that thin set will stay fluid longer. We'll have longer open time. Of course, he takes his trowel and he burns it in with the flat side of the trowel. And this is all premium unmodified thin set. And we'll talk about the reason why we use premium unmodified thin set versus modified thin set as we move forward. There'll be a couple questions on that, I'm sure, and I do want you guys to stop us at any minute or stop me at any time if you have any questions that comes about. Okay, so it's premium unmodified thin set. We actually manufacture or we sell a trowel that is a kerdi trowel. And the notch size, 11/64? That's 8th by 8? 8th by 8 square notch on the trowel. It doesn't have to be the 8th by 8 square notch, but it has to be something similar to that. Because what you don't want, I'm going to be in your way half the time, aren't I? What you don't want is you don't want to put so much material on the wall, because we're going to lay up kerdi membrane on top of this. You don't want too much thin set under there because you're going to be evacuating a lot of that thin set out. And if you have a larger notch trowel, it's going to be very hard to get that material out. So what we're going to install here is kerdi membrane. This is 8 mil thick. He's already pre-cut it for the wall, and this is for demo purposes. But it is got the graphs on it, so you can make your lines better. And it used to be we didn't have the graph on there, and you could switch it either way. But now you want to have that graph on the outside. So. It's 8 mil thick, and it'll just lay up real nice. It's like hanging wallpaper almost. So it's very, very simple to use.
It doesn't matter which way it goes on. It goes on this way too.
Yeah, but because of the graphs on there, the lines, it just makes it a little bit better. So, so once he lays it up, you can see it lays up real nice, real simple. And then what we've done is we've kind of taken from the drywall industry. We use the drywall knives. And what we do with those is we simply use those to evacuate the thin set out and really embed the membrane into the thin set. On all of our applications, everywhere that we are applied and everywhere we are installed, no matter what material we're installing, almost everything is a mechanical bond. The thin set here, when he goes ahead and evacuates everything, he's going to leave enough thin set behind that membrane so that it'll have enough to actually, the Portland cement inside the thin set will actually grow little fingers on it, and it'll grab the fabric that's on the membrane itself, and it becomes a mechanical bond. It's not an adhesive bond, it's mechanical, okay? So, and we'll talk about that when we get to DITRA too. We'll talk about how that works as well. So once he's got all his thin set evacuated, at this point he's got a real nice canvas to lay tile. Now the membrane can go on any solid backing unit. It could be drywall, green board, hardy backer, or any of the cement backer units. It really doesn't matter to us. We don't want to go over wood is the only substrate that we don't want to go over. But it could be anything, as long as any solid backing unit. So keep that in mind. Now, if we want to float our walls, we can float our walls and still put the membrane on top. And you can see Dave's peeling it back to make sure he's got good coverage. He's got good transfer. And it's decent transfer, but it
hasn't sat on there for enough.
Yeah, it hasn't sat long enough.
The thing is, talk about the trowel lines. If you see the notches after you've smoothed it out, then your thin set's not wet enough.
Yeah, when he pushes this back, if you can see any of the notches through the membrane, you'll be able to see it. Then you need to take that flat, that wallboard knife and kind of flatten that out and make sure it's nice and flat.
And or your thin set's a little too dry. It's a wetter mix that we do.
Yeah, talk about the mix. The mix is kind of like a pancake batter consistency. Mix it up. This is probably a little drier because we're doing a demo, but you want it really to be really almost fluent. You want it to be wet, but not too wet that it doesn't hold a notch. So when you comb that trowel across, it's still holding up that notch. But it's a little wetter mix when we're bonding that membrane to the substrate. Okay? So now what we're going to do, let's talk about this over here, this back wall here, which we haven't really addressed yet. This is a product called kerdi-board, and it's 1/2-inch kerdi-board. And this is just a piece that we're going to be building a bench out of, this one right here. But the board is also waterproof and moisture management product as well. Now, we can use that board in lieu of floating if we want to, and we can get that wall nice and true and flat and make it as true as a floated system. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But how we adhere it to the sticks is simply with the fasteners and the washers. Okay, and you can see the fasteners, washers that Dave's hit. It's usually a construction, a typical fastening pattern within the construction field. So usually every 8 to 10 inches, we're going to put the washer and the fastener. And then, so in the corner, we have 2 applications on this mock-up. We have membrane going over any solid backing unit, whether it's drywall, backer board, dent shield, whatever it is, or float. And then on this other side, we have our kerdi-board. So you guys can decide what is most applicable for that particular job. The kerdi-board is a 1/2-inch thick, and this is it right here. It's got obviously it's got the grid lines on it as well. A 3x5 sheet of this is about 3 pounds versus a backer board, which is about 40 pounds. So you start to do the math and how much you want to lift and how long you want your career to be. The lighter material would probably be something you'd want to work with more often, right? And then this is waterproof, and it also has a vapor perm rating as well. So it has a few other things that are really good. And this board actually comes in 8 different thicknesses. This is the 1/2-inch board, but we're going to show you when we build the bench, we'll show you it goes from 3/16 all the way up to 2-inch board. So there's a lot of different materials or thicknesses of the board that you can use. Now, he got a little bit ahead of me there, but on that corner, because we got the kerdi-board there meeting the membrane, we had to address that corner with a product called kerdi-band. And so now we've waterproofed that connection right there, that wall-to-wall connection with the kerdi-band. The kerdi-band is 4 mil thick, so it's a little bit thinner material, so we reduce the amount of buildup in those corners if we're doing certain types of tile, whether it's glass or some of the other materials out there. So it's a little bit thinner, but now we've addressed that wall-to-wall connection right there, okay? And we're going to show you how we do that at the floor-wall connections. We got inside corners and all the other pieces. What Dave's doing now is he's taking a piece that is called our pipe seal valve, and he's going to install that over the shower head, okay? And talk about that as far as the grommet and all that.
Yeah, this will stretch out to about 1.5 inches, so depending on the size pipe you got.
And again, it's 4 mil thick versus 8 mil thick. Kerdi membrane's 8 mil thick. All the bands, all the components are 4 mil thick. Okay. So now you've just handled the issue of water leaking back into the tile detail, into the cavity of the wall. We've addressed it at the shower head now. And now this particular piece, there's quite a few components that come in the shower kit box. So when you order a drain kit box, those pieces will be in there. And I'll reference this box a few times during the presentation to let you know what's in the box and what's available. What are you going to patch? Okay, so Dave's going to show, now when we put the kerdi-board up, we have to address those penetrations. So how do we do that? We take our kerdi-band. Well, first off, we take our thin set. We cover it up with thin set. Premium unmodified thin set again. We can use our same kerdi trowel. And then we take kerdi-band and we cut out a little 4-inch square, just like patching your tire on a bicycle tire, okay? And right there, that quick, whoops, I'm sorry. Right there, that quick, he's addressed that penetration. So in a typical shower application, if I've got 3 walls, I've got 3 pieces of kerdi-board, 3 walls, I'm going to put my fastening pattern on the sticks about every 8 to 10 inches, and then I'm going to hit those penetrations with the little kerdi patch there. And now all those penetrations are waterproofed. Okay, so we're good there. This also comes in the drain kit box, and this is a mixing valve seal as well. So this is available. This particular piece does really well if we're doing production. If we're doing model homes, or I shouldn't say it, custom homes, or we're remodeling or something, this probably won't work most mixing valves. Some of them are square, some of them are a little bit larger. But if we're doing like a production job where we're doing maybe a Hyatt hotel or something like that, or Hilton, then this would work very well for those types of jobs. So, but it is in the drain kit box, and it's something you'll look at, and if it works, you use it. If not, it's more of a convenience item. You may have to trash it. So right now we are going to go and we're going to show you guys how to quickly build a bench. We all know that 2x4s are great, but they're very water sensitive. So we're gonna quickly show you how to build a bench with very little product and very inexpensive and very quickly. And so what he's doing is he's using a product called kerdi-fix, which is a urethane caulking. By the way, everything I talk about is in the catalogs and in the DITRA handbooks that you guys have on your handouts. So you'll have that. But this is a urethane caulking, and he's simply running a bead on the one side and then up and down the foam and on the bottom, and he's placing it right in the corner. We're going to build this bench just like we would build a standard bench with 2x4s, same methodology, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the foam board for it. And we're going to use a material that is not water sensitive, that will not blow up and expand and contract. It'll remain in its same shape throughout the project and throughout the life of the project. So very simple to use. One thing about this kerdi-board too, it has 3 layers of waterproofing to it. It's got the facer on the front, the foam core, and a facer on the back. So if I hit it with a box knife, I've probably only gone through the first layer, maybe some foam. I'm actually okay, but I probably still hit it with the kerdi patch just to be sure, just to make sure. But it's all waterproof. It's all ready to go. So you can see how he's using that kerdi-fix. Now, what?
Oh, just mentioned you can use thin set.
Yes, you can use thin set on this. Okay, we're just using kerdi-fix in this demo, but you can use thin set to glue everything together, so to speak. Okay. The other thing I want to go back to, the kerdi-board over stud wall. Okay. Many times we get to a job site and the stud wall is out of plumb, and we want to make sure, and that's when we usually go to floating a wall and try to make it perfectly flat, perfectly square. We can do that with this board, and what we do is we use kerdi-fix or thin set as our shimming device. And so first off, we check and see where the boards are out of plumb, or if one's bowed out. If it's really bad, we might have to sister it and bring it in, or we might have to replace that whole 2x4. But if it's not too bad, if we're out, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, we're not too bad. We can work with it. So what we do is we would take the kerdi-fix, you got it? The kerdi-fix or the thin set, and we'd butter up the sticks with either one of them. And then we would take, this would be a 4x8 sheet, and we would take this and we'd put it up on the wall, 4x8 sheet, 4x8 sheet here, and we would take our 8-foot level and we would just plumb it with the level and make sure that board is perfectly level. Then we would let it cure out. If it's kerdi-fix, it's going to be cured within about 20 minutes. If it's thin set that we're using as our shimming device, we might have to wait 24 hours or so, or a good 18 hours. And then we would run our fasteners into it. Now we've got a perfectly plumbed flat wall ready for tile. So that's an option. If you prefer, you want to try the board versus floating, we can do that. And we show you at the workshop how to do that as well. So you can see how quickly Dave put together a bench. Now he's got a couple screws in there, and he's going to drive those through. And the only reason for those screws is to hold it in place while we're curing out.
While I'm working on it.
While he's working on it. Now, he can do one of two things. Once it's cured out, he can remove those screws, or since we're going to address the exposed foam in a wet area with KerdiBand, he could actually leave those screws in there if he wanted to. Okay, because we'll run we'll run a line of this kerdi band right across here, and we'll be covering up these screws. Okay, so you can do it either way you want to do it. It's not a deal breaker either way. So. Oh yeah. So also in the drain kit box, and I'll talk about the drain when we get to that point. Drain kit box has a little care package in it. It's got a lot of information. Some of the information is in front of you. But what you get in the drain kit box is you get an installation handbook. And the handbook is in French, Spanish, and English. So you have all that. All of your approvals are in the handbook, and all the instructions are in the handbook as well. But what's also in the package is all your inside and outside corners for a traditional shower. So you'll have 4 inside corners and 2 outside corners. Okay, these are all pre-done. Dave's going to install inside corner here in just a minute, but these are all preformed and ready to go. And again, these corners are only 4 mil thick versus 8 mil thick versus the kerdi membrane. So you've got all these that come in the kit box. Okay. And then also, if you're doing a job where it's the plumber's contract to set the drain, we have instructions, and I'll touch base on this again, but you would hand them the drain and this piece of paper, and that plumber would set the drain. So this is in the kit as well. Any questions so far? Anything you guys got coming up?
I got a question.
Sure.
When you're in the kerdi band, do you have to start from the bottom and get that overlap like you would with normal runoff?
One would think yes, but no. You can shiplap up or shiplap down, whatever you want to do. The key thing in all of our application is a 2-inch overlap. Everywhere we go, we've got 2-inch overlap. I'll show you. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but I can show you right here. Where this kerdi band is in this corner right here, we got 2 inches going this way and 2 inches going that way. When we hit the floor wall connections, we'll have 2 inches going out into the floor and 2 inches going up the wall. Because it's a 5-inch band, so we've actually got a little extra, an inch to play with. So we'll always have a 2-inch overlap, and again, you can roof lap it down, shingle it down, or shingle it up, whatever you guys want to do. It really doesn't matter. We know that if we've got that 2-inch overlap, we know that we're going to be waterproof. We've done testing. The TCNA has done a bunch of testing. Schluter Systems has done a bunch of testing. So we know, and we've gone the extra mile to make sure that it's done. We've actually installed now. Last year, I think it was somewhere 90,000 showers throughout North America, and I think the complaint list number was less than, it was in single digits. And so we know, and usually those situations that did arise, they were pretty simple to fix. So our success rate is extremely strong, so on that.
Talk about the testing on the overlaps.
Yeah, the testing on the overlaps, I mentioned earlier about NTCA. This is the NTCA handbook. This is what the tile industry goes to. This is kind of the tile Bible, if you will. It's right next to the ANSI book, but it's called the NTCA. And if anything goes wrong, all the details for 2014 are in this book. And all the details that we're showing you today are in this book as well. We follow closely the NTCA. We work with them very close, and almost all the methods are in this book. And when I talked about the 2-inch overlap earlier, how that testing was done is we actually had a lap seam on the floor, and we actually had a column of water that simulated, what was it, 15 feet? What was the
Initially, it was like 5 feet tall.
was it 5 feet tall, and then we tripled it. It was a meter, 3 meters, so it was actually, I think it was 12 feet. And so we simulated 3 meters of water on that lap seam. We let it sit there for, I think, 24 days or 30 days, and the penetration of that water going into that 2-inch lap seam was less than 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Then we extended it farther. We increased the height of the water. Or we simulated the pressure of the water, and we extended it 3 times. I think we went up to about 10 meters, and then we extended it for 90 days, and we still only got about a 1/4 inch of penetration of water going into that lap seam. And why that is water its molecular structure, it simply can't pass itself. It's called surface tension. We've all had a glass of water where we've filled it all the way to the top, and you can see the water just kind of bubbling over but not quite flowing over. You've seen that? That's what surface tension is. And because of the molecule is so big, it just doesn't allow itself in that tight area where the lap seam's on top of the membrane. Water can't pass itself, so it actually becomes a waterproof system. So I hope that explained it well, but all the testing we do is done by NTCA, and then we take that testing and we expand upon it. We go the next level on it. So now Dave is he's combing out his thin set. He's already addressed his the 2-plane area where the bench and the wall meet. So he's got that waterproof now, and he's going to hit the other wall real quick. The other thing I want to point out what he's doing with the wallboard knives, using 2 of them, and the reason why he does that is he's able to use one to tuck real tight into the corner and then hold and pull out the other one. And so now he's got a real tight corner there. It's real easy to install tile once it's ready for tile, and it just works out real well. So he's got an outside corner here on the outside, inside there, and then what are you doing next?
I'm going to do the pan. So to keep it moving along, I'm not going to do everything, but we would have this covered, and we'd have a piece from this transition. So every plane transition is going to have the kerdi band on it, or an outside or an inside corner, everywhere in the holes.
Okay. You sure you don't want to put that on?
Yeah, but you can talk about this.
All right, let's talk about this. All right, so talk about the pans real quick. Okay, let's see what I'm doing here. It's this way. There we go. Okay, the pans, we have a few different pans that are available to you. Is this a 48 by 48? It was. Well, this was a 48 by 48 pan. Okay, I had a question with you guys earlier about, how do I use these pans? Can I expand upon them, or can I bring them back down? Can I cut them down? Simply with a box knife, we can cut them down pretty quick and get them where we need to be. These pans come in a few different sizes. This is a 48 by 48. We have a 72 by 72, a 60 by 32 center drain, and a 60 by 32 off-center drain for those tub shower replacements, okay? So we've got a few to choose from. These are convenience items, okay? If you guys want to float your pans, by all means, float your pans. We'll show you how our system works with that type of installation. But these are convenient. They're already pre-sloped. You can expand upon them. Like, let's say I've got a 48 by 48 pan, but I've got just to make it easy, let's say I've got a 52 by 52 shower I'm dealing with. So I drop the 48 by 48 in, and I just simply pack around the perimeter with my dry pack. Okay, pack it in, continue the slope. It's only an inch around the perimeter, but I pack it in, because we're going to cover our pan and the perimeter dry pack with our membrane, so it's never going to get wet. It's simply there for, to fill in the gaps. So you can do whatever you want. Let's say you've got our pans are 60 by 32, and you've got a job site that's 60 by 38. Okay, so we're going to have 3 inches on either side of that pan. So we're going to pack those with dry pack, and then we're going to take our membrane, we're going to put it over both our pan and the dry pack, and we'll follow the slope that's here. The only thing is, when you cut these down, remember when this pan at the original state had the same elevation around the perimeter. Okay, but now we've cut it down, so the elevations are different. Okay, this elevation is probably different than this elevation, so I'm going to have to make some adjustments. That's the one thing. But once you know you're up against that, you know to make those adjustments, and you'll be in good shape. Okay, so you can do it any way you want. So on the pans, real simple. A lot of guys ask me, if I'm going over, because usually a pan, we're not, as I mentioned earlier, we're not going over backer board. We're usually going over OSB, plywood, or concrete. Well, a lot of people will say, well, I got to use modified thin set to put my pan over wood or OSB. Don't worry about it because we're just dropping a pan in there. Use the same thin set that we're using for the rest of the project. Don't go mix up a new bucket of modified thin set. Just use your premium unmodified and you'll be fine. So he's going to treat the pan like a large format tile. He's increased the size of his notch. And, you know, it's not all that critical. He probably could have burned it in if he wanted to, but literally the pan's going to be trapped. It's not going anywhere, so we don't really have to worry about that. But every connection will be adhered with thin set. Okay. So the pans now on our line drains. We're going to show you our line drains a little later, and these pans will eventually come with it. But our line drains are actually have the kerdi membrane adhered to them. Okay. And these pans, as we move forward, I think probably within the next 6 months, will come out with the membrane adhered to them. So you won't even have to take that extra step that we're going to show you today by putting the membrane on there. But something to think about going forward. Okay. Well, he's, where'd you, oh, there it is. So he's obviously pre-cut everything. So it's all set. Once you install it, embed it, you just kind of walk on it to make sure it's going to get a good bond to it. One thing I should, before you go much farther, that little recessed area right there, just set this in there real quick, or I'll set it in. That little recessed area obviously accepts the drain. Okay, you see how that's all recessed? Okay. Now, if we're doing a 3-wall shower, we're going to have a hard, and we've already set our drain. Maybe the plumber has already set the drain. We're going to have a hard time getting this pan in on a 3-wall shower because it's just going to be really hard to do. The drain's already set, right? So what we would do is we'd take these 2 half moons out right here all together. They just snap out. And we would butter them up before we set the pan down and just put them right under the support of the kerdi bonding flange. And now the drain would be all support, and then this particular pan would just drop straight down. We wouldn't have to worry about 3 walls around it because we'd already have the pan set, or the drain set with the supports on it. To talk about the drain, we really do want to talk about this. This is kind of important. Has anybody used this drain before? We got one. Okay, one of you, 2. Okay. Have you been to our workshop?
Yeah, once and none of it.
Yeah, you look familiar. Okay, I thought so. So yeah, this is a kerdi drain, and the difference between this and the drains most of you guys have been working with, the drains, the traditional drains, the Zern drains, Joseph Smith drains, or the drains that you're getting at Home Depot or whatnot, or wherever, they're 2-stage drains, okay, and they have weep holes in them. What we've done is we've gotten away from the 2-stage drain, and we've built a single component drain body here. No weep holes here. We illuminate that all together. And now, instead of tying our waterproofing down into the clamping ring on the 2-stage drain, we actually put our waterproofing on top of the drain. So now all the water goes where it's supposed to go, 100% of it, okay? So this is your bonding flange right here. No weep holes. Comes in 3 different materials. This is ABS that I'm showing you right here. We have PVC and we have stainless steel. And stainless steel is for usually production jobs where they have fire stop issues, and so we would have a stainless steel drain available for that particular job. But most of your jobs here are going to be ABS. So but this is kind of a shift in the industry. It's actually, this drain's been out for about 10 years now. And I would say the popularity of it is really starting to ramp up. I think we're at that point where it's starting to really be utilized quite often. But it's basically a single component drain, bondable flange here. We're going to show you how it's installed. I do want to talk real quick before you install it. Where'd the box go? Oh, is it over here? If you're on a project, if you're on a project and you don't have the contract to set the drains, and the plumber does, all you would do is hand the plumber this and this. It's not packing within the box. What it is these are little spacers. So when that plumber comes in, I guess I can do it right here, he's going to set the drain to that elevation. Okay? You glue it in, set it, he's done. Okay? And then in that box too is the instructions for that plumber as well. So you'd hand him the instructions of plumb and these spacers and this drain. He set the drain, you come to the job, you're in good shape. Okay? It's usually for production jobs, but it's good to know that these are, we're thinking about that kind of stuff. So
you'd dry fit this first, obviously. Cut your stubbed up plumbing to the correct height, and then dry fit it. You've seen those little inside cutters? You find at Home Depot, the little.
Might be able to get them
on the
here.
end of a drill. You just got brought one with me, but anyways. So that's what you use, and then spread your thin set, glue it up, and then you simply just press it in and embed it, and that part of it's done and set.
So you're ready to go. And you can see we have all the trapezoids there. The thin set comes in, oozes up between there. Again, it becomes a lockable or a mechanical adhesion right there as well. So, oh, okay. Dave combed out some thin set. We also have easy access, wheelchair access ability with the ramps. So that's always available for you.
If you don't have the option of sinking yourself for it,
Yeah.
you have the room for this, it's a good option.
In many cases nowadays, people are wanting the line drains, and they want to just a roll-in shower with a line drain. And a lot of times, you don't have the ability to recess that floor. I mean, and so this is a good option here, so you can roll up and then down in. So, and it meets all ADA requirements and all that, so you're in good shape there. But real simple.
It's the height of it is designed to meet the finished height of one of our pans, the end of it.
Is that so? That's
That is the end.
That is the end there. Okay, good. So that's basically at 48 or gosh, I guess that would be 24 inches from center, and so the elevation works out real well. Okay. So also here, hand me a curb. You gonna put the curb in?
I'm gonna do the drain so they can see, because the curb gets in the way.
Right. Okay. So from here, the next move, Dave's got it all pre-cut. He's gonna go ahead and put the piece on the pan and waterproof that. So go ahead and comb out his thin set. And while he's doing that, I'll talk a little bit about the curbs. The curbs are they come in the shower kit box, but they also can be bought individually. So anything we're showing you, you can buy in bulk, or you can buy within the kits. It really doesn't matter to us. Usually the kits are good. We sell quite a few shower kits, so they work out pretty good. But the curb is 6 inches high, 4 inches across. It's not sloped one way or another, and there's a reason for that. You guys need to make that slope when you start setting your tile. We did have it sloped at one time, but we found that guys were putting it and sloping it towards the drying area and not sloping it towards the shower. So we took that out of the curb, and now you guys you guys can simply make the adjustment there on the job site. These curbs can be cut down, cut in half. On the 60 by 32 kits, the kits come with 2 curbs, and so you may have some extra curb left over after you cut it. Just throw it in the truck, use it on the next job. Real simple to do. You can also cut it down and narrow it. The other application that a lot of people do is they'll simply take, remember the 2-inch board that we used for the shower bench? They use that and they make their own custom curb. And that's happening more often than not. So the kerdi-board is a product that can be utilized for many applications within the shower system. And the one thing about the kerdi-board is you really want to make sure, I'll step back and talk about the kerdi-board real quick. There are a lot of things you can do with the kerdi-board. A lot of things. The only thing that it can't support loads, ceilings, things like that. But you can build partition walls. We have a radius board, so you can do a real tight radius and put some mosaics on there. There's a lot of things you can do with the board. You can build a tub surrounds with the board. You can build vanities with the board, and that's stuff you would learn at our workshop. There's just a lot of different things you can do. And again, you're not dealing with water-sensitive 2x4s. You're dealing with a strong foam board that will hold over just about anything. I mean, a very, very strong material. So, okay, so Dave has finished up combing out all of his thin set on the...
Pre-cut this.
Yeah, he pre-cut everything. This is for demo purposes. And again, once you guys get good at this, and you start, your first shower is probably going to take you the better part of maybe into the middle of the afternoon on the first one. But as you figure it out and you get proficient, you'll be able to knock out a shower and have it ready inside of 2 to 3 hours the first morning and start setting tile. We've had guys, I was on a Hyatt job where there was 20 showers on one floor. It was in El Segundo, right by the airport. And these guys had, there was 3 of them. One guy was pre-cutting. The other guy was setting everything up, and the other guy was thin setting and installing. The 3 of them had 20 showers done in a day. And they just knocked it out. Now, these were cookie cutter showers, so everything was pretty much consistent, but you can really move fast. And for them, it was really nice because that particular job, the general contractor was fried because he was under the gun, it was running late, and they were able to save, 2 or 3 days on the job just by using this system. And contractor called me up about a week later. He says, God, I'll never use another system because the amount of time that they saved was over the top for them. They were really excited. So you can see now we've got the kerdi membrane. Now, visualize this if we floated the floor too. If we floated the floor, we would do the same thing. We would dress it with kerdi membrane. That way our float never ever gets wet, and that's what we want. We don't want that float to get wet. Because in the traditional systems, today's systems with the 2-stage drain, that float's wet all the time, right? Those weep holes end up getting clogged after 6 months, and what happens is that float just slowly keeps pulling the water through the grout joints, and it's a wet mess. And we've all gone into 24-hour health clubs and into the locker rooms, and we've smelt the nice aroma in there, the mold and mildew, and they're trying to cover it up with the chemicals and all that to clean it up. Well, all that is behind that tile is wet deck mud. That's all it is, and that smell is never ever gonna go away unless they tear that whole shower out and redo it. That's the only way it's gonna go. So what we can do now, we could still float that whole gang shower in that health club, but now we put the membrane on top of it. It never sees water at all. And we make it so that whole shower is mold and mildew free. Okay? All of our systems, once they're installed, per the instructions, you can offer your customer a mold and mildew free shower system for 10 years. Okay? It's pretty nice. And the nice thing is, done right, per the instructions in the handbooks that you guys have in front of you, you got that 10-year warranty, and we cover everything. We cover our materials, your labor, and the tile that's on top of it for tear out and reinstallation. So it's a 100% warranty. So, okay. So Dave is now going to install the, you want to do this first? Okay. Okay. So on the drain grates, we have 4 or 5 different finishes on the grates. They also come in 6-inch round and 6-inch square as well for the commercial jobs. But the drain grate, this is a stainless steel one. The drains actually have a horizontal and a vertical collar on it. And so what we do with this is we can make some adjustments after we've installed everything. So we have a height adjustment, so we could drop the collar down, And then if we had to, if it was really kind of one of those jobs that didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to, we can make the adjustments as well on that. That's a little extreme there, but we can do this, okay? So, and then the other thing that it does, it allows for horizontal movement. And Dave, are you going to put that in?
Yep.
Oh, okay. He's just putting an inside corner in real quick. So
I do an inside corner, and we do the floor to wall transition on both sides also.
do you want to just do one wall to show him? Okay. He'll go ahead and do the floor wall connection, just one of them, to show you guys how that is. Okay. So we don't do too incomplete there. But on these, we also have a tileable grate as well. So if you don't want the stainless steel or the brushed aluminum or brass or whatever, you can actually have a tile instead of having a grate there. So that's available as well. Okay. And when we show you the line drains, we'll show you there's a tileable line drain as well. So we'll do that. We'll do that in just a moment here. So he's going to go ahead and comb out some thin set. We'll install this.
Of course, I'd have a towel in the drain.
Yes,
If I
because
was at my house.
you don't want your thin set going down your drain. Plumber won't be happy. So anyway, so he's going to drop it in, and we're not going to put some mosaics in today, but you guys can get the gist of it, how low the grate will go. So when you got those thinner mosaics, it'll line up nice and flush with that, very clean.
You've got some play too. Here.
Got some horizontal play.
This is the really important thing, is to get thin set underneath the edge before you finally seat the drain down for support. I just had a guy send me a picture of this drain a quarter-inch lower than his tile because it collapsed, because he didn't get thin set under there. As soon as somebody stepped on it, it collapsed.
Oh, you know what? There's a few things I didn't show yet. We got to show this too. All right, guys, I want to show you how strong this kerdi-board is, so you guys can see this. Let's just put that up there. This is kerdi-board, 2-inch kerdi-board, right? And it had screws in here because we had to make sure that the kerdi cured up and everything without it moving or anything. But it's all done with kerdi-board. And so I just want to show you how strong it is. I'm about 190, 195, something like that. And so that's just kerdi-board holding me up here. And with the kerdi-fix, okay? So the kerdi-fix is very, very strong. You can actually take this board, and if this bench wasn't here, if you wanted to install a floating bench in that corner, you could simply cut this down like this, take kerdi-fix, run it right there, stick it to the wall, and now you've got a floating bench. And it'll hold me on it, okay? Now, once the tile wraps it, it adopts the strength of the tile. So not only will it hold me without the tile, it'll hold me with the tile even more. So very, very strong material. So I missed that earlier. I wanted to show you guys that. So you guys can, I don't know if you guys want to come up and look at this a little later, but you're certainly welcome to. Oh, and then also, I'm missing stuff all over the place. We also have niches made out of kerdi-board. Okay, these are 1/2 inch, so they'll flush out with the kerdi-board. So you just drop them in, and all you'd have to do at that point is address the seams. So right here, we'd put kerdi membrane where the seams are. Okay, these come in about 4 different sizes. This is a 12 by 12. We have a 12 by 24. I forget what the other size. We have a 6 by 12, 6-inch by 12, and there's one other size. But there's a few different sizes. They're in your handbooks too, so you guys will have all that. So you can and the other thing is you don't have to address this. This is all waterproof. Every corner is waterproof. You're ready to go. So, huh? Yeah, it drops right in, lands on the back of the.
That's, the spacing? Yeah. Well, it's designed to fit
In between your 16 on center. Yeah, yeah. So it'll drop right in there.
Or
Perfect.
you can make your own, custom with the board, whatever size you want, but then you got to address the inside with inside corners, and band it all, make any size you want.
yeah, you can with the board you can do whatever. Like a lot of guys, they'll make one. They like the long landscape niches now, and we don't have. They'll take our 12 by 24 and drop it down and build it around, frame it out and everything, and drop it in. But you can take that 1/2-inch board and build really what you want. So yeah, these are available for you too. And I think we're auctioning or raffling off a couple niches today, right? Right on. Okay. So that, and then I wanted to show you guys. Oh, he's doing the floor wall connection there inside the shower. But you guys kind of understand how that works? Yep. 2-inch overlap on every seam. Don't miss a seam. You want to make sure that's very key. Okay. And you see how clean it looks too with the ability to use those drywall knives. You're going to do the curb. Okay, so he's going to install the curb, and I'll talk a little bit about DITRA while he does that. I'll just set this here. And then so, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about DITRA while he's installing the curb there. We're going to show you guys DITRA XL. This is a product. I guess you got to roll up there. DITRA is a product that you guys really kind of want to think about, and the reason why is this is 5/16, but regular DITRA is an 1/8 thick. Okay, and a roll of it is about it's 323 feet. It's about 21 sheets of backer board. One roll is 42 pounds versus 22 sheets of backer board, which is about 600 pounds. And what this does is this provides 4 different real strong properties to it. It offers crack isolation, waterproofing. Oh yeah, I'll show that. Waterproofing, load distribution, so it increases the load upstairs, and moisture management. So if I'm going to install over concrete and it's been poured this morning and the job is pushing, got to get it done, we got to get the tile in, we're in one of those types of situations. This can be installed over concrete as soon as we can run a trowel across it or walk on that concrete. So let's say we poured today. How soon could we walk on concrete? What do you on a day like today? By noon? I mean, it cures out. Let's say we poured at 7 in the morning, depending on how big the pour is. We could probably walk on it by noon or 1 o'clock. Well, we can start installing DITRA on it as soon as we can walk on it. And we don't have to worry about the concrete curing out for 28 days. Because the reason why, let me show you before I go too much farther. On the back side of this DITRA, it has open cell space. It has fabric. In between the fabric and the PVC is airspace. So when that moisture comes up from the substrate, it's got airspace above it, and so it's not blowing off tile. It's not doing anything. That concrete is still curing out. It still has time to cure out. So as long as it's not puddled water, we can install DITRA on that concrete. Okay? That's a key thing. It's really good. Now, the other thing it does, it offers load support. So upstairs applications, we're always picking up 3x5 sheets, walking them upstairs because we got to shore up an upstairs floor, right? Well, that's kind of a misnomer. Backer board doesn't provide any load support upstairs. Everybody thinks it does because we put it up, we thin set it down, we screw it down, then we tape the seams, and everybody says, oh, it's going to help support the floor. If you look in the data sheets, in the backer board, all the manufacturers, it offers 0 load support. So you're taking it upstairs, really, just because you need something cementitious to bond to upstairs. That's the only reason for backer board, okay? So if you use this product right here, we increase the load, we give you crack isolation, and then we also give you waterproofing. So we give you at least 3 of the 4 properties that the DITRA has to offer to you on an upstairs application. So keep in mind on this product, It's an amazing product, and it's very easy to install. The other thing is, if you're installing, let's just give you an example. If you're installing 2,000 feet of backer board versus 2,000 feet of DITRA, you're probably going to do 2,000 feet of backer board probably in a day and a half, maybe. Does that sound about right, two guys? This, you'll be done with that 2,000 feet just after lunch the first day. It's that much quicker, that much easier. No dust, no heavy lifting, easy to install. And then if you want waterproofing, what do? On the seams, you take the kerdi-band and you hit it on the seams, and now you got waterproofing. You flash up the walls with the same kerdi-band. So everything's good to go there. So the difference is we have two types right here. We have actually three types, but we have DITRA and DITRA XL, which I'm holding up in front of me. Two different heights. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the DITRA XL is 5/16. It flushes off real nice up against a wood floor application. And then regular DITRA is an 1/8 inch width or thickness. And so, and when I talked about earlier about adhesiveness, and this is actually a mechanical bond as well. It's not an adhesive bond, which we talked about earlier. Mechanical bond in the sense that he's going to comb out thin set right there at the edge of the shower. We're going to show you how it's waterproofed right there once he does the curb. But the thin set's actually going to wick its way up into the fabric. The Portland's going to heat up. It's going to grow fingers, grab the fabric and grab onto it. And that's a mechanical bond to the subfloor. On the front side, all these little squares are dovetailed. So we're going to comb thin set into here. Thin set doesn't stick to plastic, but because this is configured, it's configured membrane, we're going to comb our thin set in. Once that thin set cures out, it's locked in mechanically to these squares. And then the premium unmodified thin set, because it's got a high content of Portland, is going to heat up and grab the tile above it. Okay, that's kind of how the system works. Okay, so both with DITRA and DITRA XL, that's how it works. Now I'm going to throw something else at you real quick. We now have DITRA heat. Okay, so same principle, different configuration. This does everything that this does, but now we've got heat. Okay, so we go upstairs application. We've got load support. We've got waterproofing. And we've got crack isolation out of this product. But now we've got heat if we want to do an upstairs bathroom. Same installation in terms of bonding it to the substrate, whether it's concrete or wood, whatever it is. But now we can simply take our wire, our heating wire, and it kind of locks in to the actual configured membrane. Okay? And basically what you would do is you'd have a wood float on the job, and you could simply snap everything in. You can put it wherever you want too. Gives you the ability to put the wire wherever you want. We actually show you guys this at our workshops. You guys get to install this at our Part 2 workshop. So I would encourage you guys to sign up and come to our workshop. I think you guys will like it. So that's DITRA heat. We got DITRA, DITRA XL, and DITRA heat, and great products. In reality, I'll say this and I'll say it out loud. These products make backer board obsolete. Okay? Doesn't mean that backer board doesn't share a huge part of the market and we all buy it, right? But these make it so you don't even, they become useless for you when you use these products. Okay? So something to kind of consider. All right, so that's DITRA heat. And then I'm going to go ahead and just show you. I don't know if Dave needs to do this or not, but he's already kind of extended his kerdi membrane. So outside the drying area, he's got his kerdi membrane coming out. And so what we do is we would set the DITRA with thin set. You going to set the DITRA?
Yeah, I can do it real quick.
Yeah, he'll set it. But you see how he's cut? He's pre-cut everything, so he's got that 2-inch overlap coming into the drying area. Now we're waterproofed out onto the floor. Okay? Now we've got crack isolation and load support here too. So we're in pretty good shape. The nice thing about DITRA too, once you embed it into the concrete or the OSB or the plywood, you can start setting tile right away. You don't have to wait for anything. The only thing you want to do is if you're waterproofing is hit the seams for waterproofing, and that's it with the kerdi band. Okay, does that all make sense? Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the next thing while Dave's doing what he's doing. I'm going to show you guys the line drains and how they're. Actually, let me back up real quick. I want to show one other thing. I brought this out and I forgot to show you guys. Different drain sizes with different tail pieces. I just want to show you guys these. I hope we have it. Yeah, we do. So let's just say, guys, this is something because remember we talked about the two-stage drain versus the kerdi drain. Let's just say you come to a job site and the two-stage drain is encapsulated in concrete, and you don't want to remove that two-stage drain, but yet you still want to use the kerdi system. You like it, you're sold on it, it's the way to go. So what you do is when you get to the job site, you'll order from Bonanza. You'll order a kerdi drain adapter kit, okay? And it basically will come in that same kerdi box that I showed you guys earlier, but it'll be a drain adapter kit. And so what'll happen is you'll get to the job site and you'll see the drain there. It's two-stage drain. You'll take off the drain, drain coupler, the coupler off the top. You'll hold on to those bolts that are holding the drain down. Just set those things aside. Pull them out, and then what you do is you'll have a drain adapter. This is for commercial, but we have one for residential as well. All the holes are pre-punched to meet most of the major plumbing manufacturers. Zurn, Joseph Smith, and Waterways, I think, is what's on here. But what you'll do is you'll hold out, put those bolts aside, then you'll come in and you'll drop this right down on the drain body. From there, and then you'll grab the bolt, well, you'll run a bead of kerdi fix around here and around each bolt hole pattern. Drop this down, take those same bolts that were on the original drain, lock this thing down, okay? And it's all locked in and ready to go. And then this, here's your kerdi drain. This becomes a compressible suction fit, and now we're on top of that old drain body with the kerdi drain system. Okay, this is a commercial one, but we have it in residential as well. Okay, so. Yes, we do. I don't know if it's in here, but I don't think it's in here. I thought we had. No, I don't have one with me. But yes, they come in. There's one in here. No, I don't see one. Yeah, so it'll fit. It'll fit this one right here. Okay, so we have that as well. So no matter what you're up against, we should be able to help you out on that. Okay, so if you want to use kerdi system, you got the ability to do it. Actually, here is the right here. Here's the drain for the residential one. Okay, it doesn't give you as much latitude as the original kerdi drain, but this piece. This commercial size, of course, but it would fit right there, just like that. Okay, and then drop in. It's obviously it's a little bit smaller than this. So you got a couple options there. Also have, like I mentioned earlier, the drain comes in stainless steel for the high production jobs, so that's available as well. And I think that's it for that. And then, okay, so now we'll just talk real quickly about how he's installing the DITRA, burning everything in. He's using a DITRA trowel now. Okay, remember when we were over here, we were using a kerdi trowel? So now we're using an 11/64 square notch trowel. And this is just the right amount of thin set to get on the floor. So when we embed that thin set, we got, or the DITRA, we got the perfect amount of thin set coming up. Wicking its way up into the fabric that's underneath the DITRA. So
Whatever you can find close to 11/64.
yeah, I mean that's about where you want to be. They're in the book if you guys need to get them. All the part numbers are available through Bonanza. You can get just about anything here. These guys do a great job distributing for us, so we really appreciate that. So.
Use a smaller notch trowel for the 1/8 DITRA.
No, the
Same size, yeah. Same
Yeah.
trowel, yeah. But
oh, for the different size DITRA.
Yeah, the 8
Oh,
versus the XL.
same. Now on the DITRA heat, I think we go quarter inch with the DITRA heat. Yeah. Yeah, but DITRA XL and DITRA are pretty much the same. Oh, so what you would do is once you guys embed the DITRA too, you just take your wood float and your body weight and you embed it that way. Now if you're doing a large job, we have rollers that are available. You put a 50-pound bag, a thin set on it, and you just roll it. So let's say we're doing this whole floor in here, and we're not going to be using our wood float throughout the whole floor. That'd be kind of a pain in the butt. You would just use a roller and just embed it, and that's the key thing. And every once in a while, you'll pull up a corner to make sure. Dave will pull up a corner real quick here to make sure he's got proper coverage. That's proper coverage right there.
that's perfect.
Yeah. He wants to take a picture because he hasn't done it that good before. So,
Usually the thin set's drying out by the time I'm getting
yeah, by the time we get to this point. So, okay, so I want to show you guys what. Okay, so we talked about it earlier, how he's already got it overlap there into the transition there, into the drying area. So he's just going to comb out some thin set underneath the kerdi, and he will have it, that particular seam will be waterproof in no time. So I'm going to show you guys the line drains so you guys have a little bit of understanding of how those go. I know we don't have a lot of space, but I think I got enough to make it happen. Let's put this over here. And do this over here. So we kind of built a little mock-up here for you so you guys kind of see how it works out of the kerdi-board. See all the different uses for kerdi-board? So assume that that's a floor. This is our kerdi line drain pan. Remember how I talked about the pans in the line drain series are already taken care of as far as waterproofing is already there? So let me show you how that works. Everything's sloped one direction. If the shower is this wide, you want to make sure that that line drain goes from wall to wall. Okay? We have line drains that start out at 20 inches and they go all the way up to 78 inches in 4-inch increments. So almost every shower we can address it. Okay?
And then the sizes over 48 inches all have offset hub options also.
Yeah, if your joist spacing in the floor,
Or rather, I'm sorry, up to 48 inches because they can't do it on a 6-footer as an offset hub because of its proper drainage.
and the reason for that, guys, if you're on a job site and it's you know, the joist spacing is kind of screwing you up underneath and the drain placement is odd, we have that offset drain body there for you. So, something to look at. So this is the line drain, and we'll kind of show you all the components of it. So when you get it, when you open up the box, you have to be a little bit careful because there are foam pieces, and actually these foam pieces, I'll take them out so you guys see what they are. These are foam pieces. These are actually supports for underneath the drain itself. So do not lose these when you're out on the job site. This piece right here comes away. It's got a peel, double-sided peel that you peel away if you're going to place the line drain up against the wall.
No, center.
Oh, you add this, yeah. But if you're going to place it up against the wall, this one goes away. If you're going to place it in the center, this one would glue onto that one, and now we'd have a center placement. So, so with that, I'll show you how it goes in. Let's see, this goes this way. Make sure that's. And then the drain itself, now the drain is stainless steel, and it already has the kerdi membrane adhered to it, to the body. So now what we're going to do is pull this out like this, And this is a tileable grate. So we're going to have tile going right on top of this. And we're going to simply drop this in here. Make sure it fits properly. It's all flushed out, so you can see how the kerdi membrane overlaps the pan here. So you got the 2-inch overlap. And if we're going up the wall, this piece is going to feather right up the wall. Okay? And you would do a little bit of adjusting here depending on how tight these corners are. But it's very simple to do. This right here is a spacer that comes with it. And so that you will tile up to that spacer, so that's where your water is going to go. So you don't want, obviously don't want to grout this, but you're going to tile right up to it. Water's going to come down and go down into the drain like that.
Then the inside measurement of that spacer is exactly the size of the piece you want to put on top of the main grate.
Yes.
Cut it that measurement.
So you want to cut it the same measurement as this, drops on right on like that, and you've got the exact same. See how that works? So, and then also the drain kit box comes with a no hub, so you'll have that, and you can adapt to all the different. Well, obviously, if it's usually cast iron or something like that, you've got that in there as well.
That's iron, you'd have to get something different. No hub.
But you have anything else to add to this one?
There's that pan there. Pull the drain out. It doesn't come pre-cut like that. It's full, so you would put that on there, trace it out, and cut out what you want to take out of there.
Take your razor blade, cut here, 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 and it's all recessed, so you can kind of do that on the job site. So, any questions?
Yeah, it's got a singular slope going in one direction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all pitched one way. You can also do center drains too. So we have pans that are center, and then we have pans that are wall.
You want to go like 6 feet down the slope?
Our pans come in 55-inch and 30.
55 by 55 and 39 by 39.
But you can expand.
You can link them up, or you can screed off the back of a pan with mortar,
Deck mud.
deck mud, whatever.
We are coming out with larger pans, but that's what we have right now. We have 55s. So you can also still float your pan and not use our pans at all with the.
Yeah, you just float off of that support piece there.
Yeah, this piece right here. You'll set this, float off of this, and then your membrane. You'll hit your deck mud with the membrane and all the way up, and then 2-inch overlap where the drain comes together.
Yeah, and when you're trying, obviously you want the drain to go as close to wall as possible. A 36-inch drain is actually 38-inch is long because of the flange. The actual drainage portion is 36 with the flange, so you got to keep that in mind when you're ordering. You're ultimately going to have a small piece of tile on either side, to continue the grout joint look to it.
And that's okay, because even though that particular piece on either side is probably going to be flat, it's okay, that water will flash off. The main thing is getting your proper slope to the drain. That's key. But Patrick, any questions?
I'm good.
You good? Patrick's been to our workshop a few times, right? Just once? Okay.
Does this material get 8 mil over it?
Does it what?
Get 8 mil over it?
No, you would just do the 4 mil kerdi band.
Only if you're trying to make the DITRA waterproof, because it doesn't overlap. It just butts up to itself. Then you would put the banding material over the seam.
2-inch lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5-inch band.
Yeah, the 5-inch band will hit that seam, so you'll have 2.5 inches on either side. Yeah.
Regarding the workshop, I just want to tell everybody it's well worth it. They treat you like a king. So you won't regret spending the time to do it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Aside from the education.
Yeah, aside from the education.
Right?
We actually bring the In-N-Out truck there one day for lunch, and you got to eat a lot of hamburgers. So plan on that if you come. But yeah, we have it, and Andy is the instructor, and he is. I mean, we're hiring a few more educators, but he's amazing. You guys would love. That's worth the price of admission alone. I mean, he's very, very good, very thorough. He's an ex-installer. Been in the trade now for about 40 years, but he's just very, very good in the education part. And then if you decide you want to hear it in Spanish, Oscar's real good too. He'll be right in the next room. You guys have your options, but we would definitely love to have you there, and hopefully come spend a few days with us. And 100% warranty. Warranty is very strong. And I mentioned it earlier, we do probably about 90,000 showers a year now, maybe even 100,000, I don't even know, but the number I got was from a couple years ago. Literally, the complaints were in the single digits, there was like 7 or 8, so the success rate is extremely strong. And, we would love to have you guys try it out and let us know if we can help you with the installation at all, at least the first one, and kind of walk you through it. We'd be happy to do that. We're gonna raffle off a shower kit today, so hopefully one of you guys will have a chance to take one to the next job site.